Kit with Dean Blevins, former Oklahoma quarterback, KWTV in Oklahoma City and television, and also host of what was the Lincoln Riley Show. Dean, thanks for your time. I know it's a crazy day. Have you ever been in any kind of situation like you faced yesterday evening?
Well, I remember when we broke the Coach Switzer resigning that day, and that would be the only thing that compared to it, not even Bob Stoops leaving early and handing the keys to Lincoln. It was totally unexpected because Oklahoma felt like it was in good position, that there was nothing to the LSU thing. And they literally, I'm at a press conference now, the athletic director, Joe Castiglione, Stoops, president of the school, saying they literally knew nothing about USC until I think it was Saturday night, very, very late, and Lincoln wanted, or Sunday morning, and Lincoln asked to be able to speak to USC, and so they got a call back from Lincoln 3 hours later and said he was leaving. So the word blindside has been used by not only me and other media members, but it was used by the president of the school and others today. You know, they appreciate Lincoln. He's a fantastic coach, but it's a complete stunner and puts them and the program in a miserable position.
So how do they respond past Bob Stoops as the interim? Do you think they can talk Bob into staying, or do they go outside?
They've already asked Bob, and he said no. They will probably name a coach definitely within the next 2 weeks. I'm thinking a week or 10 days. There's speculation, former defensive coordinator and defensive coordinator at Clemson, or at OU, and then at Clemson, Brent Venables was actually in town. It's one of those deals. Well, we saw the plane at the airport. He was going to come over and be introduced today. That turned out not to be true. The bottom line, what I got from all of the press conference and talking to Bob and everyone that movers and shakers around here, is that because of the strong position that Stoops is taking in this in regard to he's already recruiting for them, he's trying to keep players here, et cetera. Because of that, that allows Castiglione a little bit more time to go after a big fish. A couple of big fish have called that would surprise people. Joe told me he doesn't know if they'll be there at the end, but they've had unbelievable inquiry about the job, and so I think something will come a little bit later than we initially thought, because we all thought that something would come today or within a week for sure because of recruiting. If things go south, you don't have any players. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you guys have talked about it. Current players talking about leaving. Recruits, many have already said they're leaving. Then there's the opt-outs, and then, it can be barren. So I think they've got a strong guy in Stoops that gives them comfort and has put a strong face and some pride back to the fans with the way he was today.
Dean, how much of a concern is there amongst the OU faithful about this being a bit of a dangerous fork in the road, and the fact that they have to nail this hire, or else they're looking at the potential, of course, with all the moving parts of really a grave misstep and struggling these next few seasons if they don't hit this hire the right way?
Well, that is the concern. I think there's anger anytime you have something like this happen, whether it's justified or not. Fans are just angry about it because Lincoln Riley did a poor job of coaching this year. He didn't show up at the press conferences, had no reason for it. The Baylor week, his team was not focused. They looked terrible in the Baylor game. And then they come back and play decent against Iowa State. Then the other night, there were distractions, and that team had 14 penalties called on them. There were 12 that were accepted by OSU, and their special teams looked like they were in grade school. So it was so unlike any Stoops or Riley team that we've ever seen. This has been a disjointed thing for a long, long time, and a lot of it is yet to be defined. But there's serious, serious concern. The big press conference here statewide today settled people down some. And I think the faith that people have in Joe Castiglione's hires throughout the years, it's remarkable who he's brought in, that they are banking on him doing that again and accepting whatever losses are out there right now, mostly in terms of players, but quickly getting back to moving forward.
Dean, I know you got to go. You gave us some time we didn't think you were going to be able to have, so thanks for your time. Good luck going forward. I know it's going to be a crazy day.
You betcha. And you got a great coach there. I have no idea how much validity there is to him being on a list or what that means, but I hope if he doesn't become OU's next coach, he stays there with you guys forever. He's awfully impressive.
Thank you, Dino. Appreciate it. Dean
All
Blevins with us on Sikkim 365 Radio, 365 Sports. And I've seen the list of names. It's the ones who are have already been looked at and those who are staying and whatever. The Venables thing obviously has some fire to it among some others. Dean Blevins from, again, the Lincoln Riley show, the Oklahoma coaches show, and former OU quarterback.
Well, Venables has been in the water for a while as an assistant, and people keep asking. He skipped over Kansas State a couple years ago, didn't really jump into that one. So if you're waiting for a big one, this is a big one.
Yeah, I mean, it's as big as you're going to really get at this point. I mean, they don't seem to be linked right now to any other what I would call giant names. But then again, Dean just said that there's a couple of, big names out there that have potentially already shown their interest. Who that would be, obviously very interested to find that out. I mean, one thing that's circulating right now quite a bit, at least online, and look, you got to be careful with that because we had the whole LSU Lincoln Riley thing, remember? And then that turned out to be something completely different. But a lot of talk about LSU and Brian Kelly right now, or at least LSU being interested in Notre Dame's head coach. Yeah, I mean, it's that LSU job and that Oklahoma job, very curious to see kind of how that all plays out. And until those jobs are filled, Baylor fans are just going to have to get used to Dave Aranda's name still being mentioned no matter what. Like you said, I mean, he could say something, but it's not going to matter because nobody's going to believe him anyway. So that speculation will just continue. But I feel good about Aranda, and I think it's, like Mac Rhodes said last week, a compliment to the program that just a year removed from 2-7, he's now being mentioned for, at least in the rumor mills, for every major job that's opened up so far. So, I don't know if the Venables thing is true or not, but if it's him, that's not a bad move, although I'm not, completely all in on it, convinced that it would be a successful move. There's a lot of unknowns there with Brent Venables. He's never been a head coach. Can he recruit at a high level? Can he recruit quickly enough to get them in line and get them right for next year? That's where the benefit of the transfer portal comes in. But I brought up the quarterbacks earlier. Tell me how you feel about this if you're an Oklahoma fan. So you look at your quarterback spot right now. Spencer Rattler's announced today that he's transferred.
Right.
Caleb Williams hasn't made a decision. He's going to go to USC with Lincoln Riley. Is there any way he doesn't go to USC with Lincoln Riley?
No.
He's from California. It would be crazy if he didn't. So that would leave on their roster right now Tanner Schaefer, a redshirt senior, so he's gone. And he's a walk-on anyways. Michael Bowens, a redshirt freshman. Ben Harris, a walk-on freshman from Midwest City, Oklahoma. A walk-on by the name of Ralph Rucker. A walk-on Spencer Jones. I mean, that's it. That's their quarterback room.
Well, the other one was Tanner Mordecai.
Chandler Morris.
Chandler Morris, and et cetera.
But they can't go back.
Caleb Williams is from Washington, D.C.
That's right. Yeah.
But
I was thinking of Bryce Young and all those guys.
You know who he's tied into. We know who he's tied into.
Well, now that he's in the water, the one I would expect to see the new coach target would be either Dylan Gabriel or Miles Brennan to come in there and start. Dylan Gabriel from UCF and Miles Brennan from LSU. Those appear to be the two biggest names of guys that would be starter ready. Now, are they Caleb Williams? No. But they are better than the guys you have in the roster. And whatever true freshman and JUCO guy is going to come in, that's going to be – there's an open door quarterback at Oklahoma right now, and of course they didn't see this coming, and
their quarterback room doesn't have any incoming freshmen.
No, because they just lost their commitment.
Because they just lost the commitment. And then on top of that, was it Nelson's the class of 2023, right? The kid from California. And most likely he ends up somewhere.
And that's the thing too with Lincoln Riley. You're right. I got Caleb Williams wrong. He is a DC kid. But, I mean, you look around at the number of California quarterbacks and even just stick with the West Coast and even look towards Hawaii and the quarterbacks that are coming off the islands that are playing throughout college football. I mean, they're all right there on that side of the country, and Lincoln Riley can just stay pat right there. And, Bryce Young doesn't end up going to Alabama. He goes to USC instead, right? And so on and so forth. So I think it makes a lot of sense for Lincoln Riley, and this is a very touchy situation for Oklahoma. I mean, they cannot afford to get this hire wrong. I'm not trying to make it too serious, but it's just true. I mean, you are inbound into the SEC, and the way you're set up right now with Riley being gone, your quarterback room depleted, and who knows how much else damage that's going to be done to the roster between now and next season. They not only have to hit the hire hard, but that guy is going to have to just do some miracle work to get them to a point next year where they're still playing at a similar level. And that's going to be way harder or way easier said than done.
Well,